Welcome to the channel name Hidden US Coins. Have you ever held something so small, so ordinary, yet inside it carried a secret so powerful it could change your entire life? Friends, today you are about to step into a world hidden in plain sight. A world where the smallest copper penny or silver dime in your pocket could secretly be worth more than a luxury mansion, more than a lifetime of hard work, more than most people ever dream of owning. These are not myths, not fairy tales, but real coins. Coins minted by the United States, coins that today stand as treasures of untold fortune in the auction markets. And what I am about to show you is not just a list of coins. This is a journey into history, into rare accidents of minting, into the mysteries of collectors' desires, and into the unstoppable rise of value that makes these coins legendary. Some are wheat pennies, some are Roosevelt dimes, some are Lincoln Memorial cents. But all of them have one thing in common. They are ultra-rare, shockingly valuable, and capable of making ordinary people suddenly unbelievably wealthy. Stay with me to the very end, because you will not only discover the top 8 most ultra-rare and most valuable Lincoln wheat pennies, Roosevelt dimes, and Lincoln Memorial treasures ever known, you will also feel the thrill, the goosebumps, the pure excitement of realizing that you too might already have one of these coins hiding somewhere in your collection, your drawer, or even your pocket. And if you do, you are holding a fortune greater than gold. First coin number 1. The year was 1944. The world was deep in the fires of World War II. Factories roared, soldiers marched, and America was producing more than ever before. In the middle of this chaos, the U.S. Mint struck one of the most iconic coins in American history, the Lincoln wheat penny. But what makes the 1944 with no mint mark wheat penny so electrifying, so desired, and so legendary? It begins with its history. Most 1944 pennies were made of copper and zinc, replacing the steel pennies of 1943. These were common, millions upon millions of them. Yet within this ocean of ordinary cents, a tiny fraction emerged with peculiar features, striking golden shades, unique surfaces, and most mysteriously of all, no mint mark. These few became anomalies, accidents of history, unrepeatable miracles of the minting process. Its composition, 95% copper and 5% zinc, does not sound unusual at first. But the alchemy of time, conditions, and errors created coins with shimmering golden tones. Some collectors believe these hues came from unique environmental conditions or subtle variations in the metal mix. Whatever the cause, when you hold one of these golden-shaded 1944 Lincoln wheat pennies, you're not just holding copper, you're holding a once-in-a-lifetime treasure that shines like history itself. What makes this coin unique is not only its golden glow and missing mint mark, but also its journey through history. These coins survived decades unnoticed, slipping through hands of ordinary people who never realized the fortune resting between their fingers. They passed through shop counters, piggy banks, and cash registers, quietly growing rarer every single year as collectors pulled them away into vaults and safes. Rarity is the heartbeat of this coin's story. Imagine a vast crowd of billions of pennies, and within that crowd, only a whisper of coins shines with this magical golden tone, with no mint mark, in such fine condition. Collectors chase them relentlessly because rarity drives desire, and desire drives value. And now, here's where the suspense turns into shock. The current auction market value of this treasure is not just a few thousand, not even tens of thousands, but an earth-shaking $195,000. Yes, you heard me right. This single penny, so small you could lose it between your couch cushions, carries a value that can rival a fortune. Owning one is like owning a piece of America's past and future rolled into one. And remember, this is not fantasy. This is today's reality. The price of this coin rises year after year. It is not just money, it is a growing treasure chest. It is wealth that increases even while you sleep. Many collectors call it their crown jewel, the coin that transforms their entire collection from ordinary to legendary. For collectors, the tip is simple yet powerful. Never underestimate a coin by its size or shade. Always examine your wheat pennies carefully. Look for that golden glow. Look for the missing mint mark. Look for the signs of history whispering through its metal. Because when you find one, you are not holding a penny, you are holding a fortune. And as a conclusion, let me say this. The 1944 with no mint mark wheat penny is not just a coin. It is a treasure. A symbol of America's resilience during wartime, a testament to the accidents of minting that make collectors' hearts race, and above all, a fortune in the palm of your hand. If you own one, guard it like a treasure chest. If you dream of one, chase it with passion. Because coins like this don't just exist in history, they make history. Next coin number 2. The year was 1946. America was finally breathing after the storm of World War II. Soldiers were coming home, families were rebuilding their lives, and the nation stood at the doorway of prosperity. And in this period of hope and rebirth, the United States. Mint continued striking the coin that had already become an American icon, the Lincoln wheat penny. But hidden among the countless millions of pennies struck that year, a rare miracle was born. A coin that today sends shockwaves through the collector world. A coin that whispers stories of history and fortune, the 1946 with no mint mark Lincoln wheat penny with mysterious gray spots. At first glance, it looks humble, modest even, as though it is just another cent lost in a pile of change. But when your eyes adjust, when the light touches its surface, something magical happens. Those subtle gray spots resting across the coin like shadows of time make it unlike any other. They are not flaws, they are the fingerprints of history, giving this coin its unique identity. This is not just a penny. It is a rare survivor of America's post-war era, and every detail tells a story. Let's go deeper into its background. The 1946 wheat penny was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a return to traditional materials after the one-year experiment with steel in 1943. These coins carried the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, his solemn gaze symbolizing stability in a time when the country desperately needed it. On the reverse, the twin wheat stalks reminded Americans of growth, prosperity, and abundance. But only a tiny fraction of these coins were struck without a mint mark, and fewer still survived in fine condition with their unique grayish tones intact. That combination, no mint mark, fine preservation, and rare toning turns this coin into a masterpiece for serious collectors. Its uniqueness doesn't stop at its look. Think about this. Out of millions upon millions struck, only a handful carry these captivating gray spots that make them stand out like jewels among pebbles. It's not just a coin. It's a fingerprint of the minting process, an unrepeatable accident of chemistry and time. That's what collectors crave, something so rare, so distinct that it cannot be duplicated. Now, let's talk about rarity. Every year, collectors across America and beyond search tirelessly for these coins. They hunt through old rolls, dig through family jars, and scan auction catalogs, hoping for a glimpse of this elusive 1946 wheat penny. And why? Because rarity fuels desire, and desire fuels value. When a coin is this rare, with no mint mark, a stunning golden brown base kissed by grayish spots, and preserved in beautiful condition, collectors are willing to go to extraordinary lengths to own it. And here is where your heart will skip a beat. The current auction market value of this treasure is a breathtaking $187,000. Yes, you heard correctly, this single penny, no larger than the tip of your thumb, is valued at nearly $200,000. It is a fortune disguised as a coin, a tiny piece of metal carrying the weight of unimaginable wealth. If you hold one in your hands, you are not just holding currency. You are holding a crown jewel, a treasure chest of fortune that grows in value with every passing year. And let me assure you, this is not fiction. The value of this coin is rising steadily, year after year. What is worth $187,000 today could be worth far more tomorrow. Auction houses compete to showcase it. Collectors bid with trembling hands, and those lucky enough to own it guard it like a dragon guards gold. Its demand will not vanish. It will only grow stronger because rarity is eternal and desire never fades. For collectors, here is your tip. Never dismiss the pennies you come across. Check them closely, especially the ones from 1946. Look for the missing mint mark. Study the surfaces. Do you see those unique grayish tones that make this coin legendary? If so, you may just be staring at your own ticket to fortune, a coin that could elevate your entire collection into the realm of treasures. And as we conclude the story of this remarkable coin, let's remember what it truly represents. The 1946 with no mint mark. Lincoln wheat penny is not just copper and zinc. It is a piece of America's post-war rebirth. It is a symbol of rarity and history woven together. It is a fortune disguised in plain sight. And if you are lucky enough to own one, you are not just a collector, You are a guardian of one of the most valuable treasures in the coin world today. Next coin, 3. Yes, 1958 was the last year the wheat design appeared before transitioning into the memorial reverse in 1959. That alone makes any 1958 wheat penny a piece of numismatic history. But within this year's mintage hides something far more thrilling, far more mysterious. The 1958 Lincoln wheat penny with a Denver mint mark, shimmering with a rare silver-like shade. At first glance, you might think this is just another penny aged with time. But look closer. The coin tells its story through its unusual color. A silver shade that almost tricks the eye into believing it is not even copper at all. This isn't paint or plating. It's the rare, natural alchemy of metal, environment, and preservation that gives this coin a striking identity all its own. Collectors who discover one often describe a sense of awe, as though they have stumbled on a ghost of the mint, a coin that refuses to blend into the copper sea of ordinary cents. Let's look deeper into its background. The 1958 wheat penny, struck in 95% copper and 5% zinc, was minted in both Philadelphia and Denver. The Denver Mint produced a huge number that year, but out of those millions, only a rare and tiny fraction stands out with this silver shade. This shade was likely caused by unique environmental factors after minting, but instead of diminishing its value, it transformed it into a legend. Add to this the fact that 1958 marks the end of the wheat design, and you have a coin that carries both historical weight and collector obsession. Its uniqueness lies not only in its metallic glow, but in its story as the last wheat penny. Think about it. Every collector knows the Lincoln series is one of the most beloved in the United States. History. But to own the final wheat, with a rare D mint mark and a ghostly silver surface, is to hold a piece of transition itself, the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. This isn't just a coin. It is a bookmark in American history. Now, let's talk about rarity. Out of countless coins struck in Denver, only a whisper remains in this form today. Time has devoured the weak, worn most down, or left them too damaged to shine. But when one survives with that silvery hue, in collectible condition, it instantly commands the attention of the numismatic world. Collectors don't just want it, they crave it. It represents not only rarity but also uniqueness. And when those two combine, the demand is unstoppable. And here comes the part that stuns every listener. The current auction market value of this coin is an earth-shaking $165,000. Yes, $165,000 for a single wheat penny from 1958, carrying the Denver Mint mark, shining in a silver-like glow, and standing proudly as the last of its kind. That is not small money. That is not ordinary wealth. That is a fortune, a treasure, a miracle of numismatics. And believe me when I say the value is climbing. Every year that passes, coins like this disappear deeper into private collections, locked away, never to return to public hands. That drives prices higher and higher. The market whispers the same story again and again. Wait, and its value will only grow. Owning one is like holding an investment that doesn't just sit still. It multiplies, it blossoms. It builds into something greater every single year. For collectors, here's your golden tip. Don't overlook 1958. Many think the last year of wheat pennies is too common to hold treasures. But in that mindset lies the opportunity. Search the 1958 Denver coins carefully. Study their surfaces. Do you see copper, or do you see silver-like tones aged by history that set it apart? If you do, my friend, you are not holding just a coin. You are holding wealth disguised as change. And as we close this chapter, remember this. The 1958 with D wheat penny is more than a coin. It's a farewell to an era, a rare accident of nature, and a fortune waiting to be discovered. With its silver shade, its historical weight, and its staggering six-figure value, it stands as one of the most breathtaking treasures in American numismatics. Next coin, number 4. The year was 1988. America was in the middle of great change. The Cold War was nearing its final chapter. Technology was beginning to shape the future, and people across the nation carried dimes in their pockets without ever thinking twice. The dime was simply currency, a coin to buy a soda or make a phone call. But within this ordinary stream of everyday change, a miracle was struck at the Denver Mint, a dime so rare, so unique, and so valuable that today it shocks collectors around the world. Yes, I'm talking about the 1988 Roosevelt dime with the D mint mark, shimmering with silver undertones and touched by mysterious brown spots. At first glance, it may look like just another dime, but once you take it in your hand, once you let the light reveal its secrets, the truth becomes clear. This isn't just pocket change, it's a piece of history transformed into treasure. Its silver hue, kissed with brownish spotting, gives it a character unlike any other. Collectors don't see those dots as blemishes. They see them as the marks of time, the whispers of history, and the signature of uniqueness that sets this dime apart from every other. Now, let's explore its background. The Roosevelt Dime series began in 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing. By 1988, the design had become deeply familiar to every American, yet the Mint continued to produce them with care. The Denver Mint struck millions of dimes that year, but only a rare handful emerged with the characteristics that make this coin legendary. Its composition, copper core bonded with a copper nickel clad, was standard. But in this coin's case, environmental conditions, preservation, and subtle minting factors gave it that ghostly silver-like glow and those distinct brown markings that collectors prize so highly today. Its uniqueness lies not only in its appearance but also in its survival. The vast majority of 1988 dimes were spent, worn, and forgotten. They clinked endlessly through pockets, jars, cash registers, and vending machines until they lost every trace of distinction. But this coin, this one dime, endured. It retained its brilliance. It carried its unusual shade forward through decades. And today, when a collector holds it, they are not just holding metal, they are holding a piece of destiny. Now, let's talk about rarity. Imagine millions upon millions of dimes, indistinguishable from one another, and then picture a single shining outlier that breaks the mold. That's the 1988 with D. Roosevelt dime with its silver-brown tone. Coins like this don't just appear, they emerge as treasures. Collectors around the world hunt for them, and when one surfaces in fine condition, the demand explodes. Everyone wants it. Everyone knows its story. And everyone understands that this isn't just a dime, it's a fortune waiting to be claimed. And here comes the moment that always leaves people speechless. The current auction market value of this coin is a jaw-dropping $159,000. Yes, one dime, the smallest coin in your change, a coin you could easily overlook or spend without a thought, today stands as a six-figure treasure. That's not just money. That's life-changing wealth wrapped inside the smallest canvas of American coinage. And the most thrilling part? This isn't the ceiling. The value of this coin rises with time. Every auction, every collector battle pushes it further upward. It's not just wealth, it's growing wealth. Imagine holding something that becomes more valuable simply by existing in your possession. That's what this coin represents. A fortune today, an even greater fortune tomorrow. For collectors, here's the powerful tip. Do not underestimate modern coins. Too often, people assume only the oldest coins hold great value. But history has proven otherwise. Even a 1988 Roosevelt dime, in the right condition with the right unique traits, can rival treasures centuries old. So when you come across your dimes, study them. Look for that Denver D mint mark. Look for silver-like shades. Look for mysterious brown spots. Because the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is just one coin away. And as we conclude this chapter, remember, the 1988 with D. Roosevelt dime is not just small change, it's a miracle of numismatics. It carries history, rarity, and an unmatched sense of treasure within its tiny frame. And above all, it carries value so powerful it transforms collectors into guardians of wealth. Next coin, number 5. The year was 1992. The United States stood tall at the dawn of a new era. The Cold War had ended, technology was racing ahead, and Americans were carrying coins in their pockets without ever imagining that some of them could hold the key to unimaginable fortune. Among the billions of ordinary coins circulating that year, one stood apart, rare, mysterious, and destined to become a treasure whispered about in the numismatic world. That coin is none other than the 1992 Roosevelt dime with the Denver mint mark, carrying hauntingly beautiful gray spots across its surface. At first glance, it may appear like a simple dime, a coin so small that people rarely stop to look closely. But under the right light, the story begins to unfold. Those gray spots across the coin's surface are not blemishes. They are signatures of time. They give the dime a distinctive personality, turning it into something unforgettable. It is no longer just a coin, it becomes a work of art sculpted by history. Let's travel back to its background. The Roosevelt dime, first struck in 1946, honored one of America's most influential presidents, Franklin D. Roosevelt. By 1992, the design had become a symbol of consistency, a coin that every American had handled countless times. But what sets this dime apart is its extraordinary rarity and unique condition. The Denver Mint struck millions upon millions of dimes in 1992, but only a scarce few emerged in such remarkable form with the perfect D mint mark, preserved beauty, and those mystical gray markings that collectors today find irresistible. Its uniqueness is what makes it legendary. Out of oceans of ordinary copper nickel-clad dimes, one shines differently. It is the difference between something common and something divine. Those gray tones are not just random, they are a story, a fingerprint, a signal to collectors that this coin lived a unique journey through time. Now, let's talk about rarity. Rarity is the heartbeat of value in the coin world. And the 1992 with D Roosevelt dime in fine condition with these distinct gray shades is extremely rare. Most dimes from that year are gone lost, spent, destroyed, or worn beyond recognition. But when one of these elusive treasures appears in the market, collectors pounce on it like it's the last jewel in a crown. And that hunger, that fire, drives the price higher and higher. And here's the moment where jaws drop. The current auction market value of this dime stands at a breathtaking $145,000. Yes, one single dime, something so small, something most people ignore, commands a price greater than what most families earn in years. That is not just money. That is treasure. That is wealth concentrated into a single coin. Wealth so powerful it can transform a life in an instant. And believe me, this isn't the end of its story. This coin's value is not sitting still. It is rising steadily, year by year. Every auction pushes the price higher. Every collector who holds it knows they're holding more than a coin. They're holding a growing fortune, a treasure chest in miniature. Today it's worth $145,000. Tomorrow, who knows? But one thing is certain. It will never lose its power, its rarity, or its demand. For collectors, here's your vital tip. Never overlook modern dimes. Too many people believe treasures only exist in ancient coins or centuries-old relics. But the truth is right here in the 1992 Roosevelt dime. Examine your coins carefully. Search for the Denver Mint mark. Study the surface for those haunting gray shades. Because within your hands could lie a fortune disguised as a dime. And as we close the story of this treasure, remember, the 1992 with D Roosevelt dime is not just a coin. It is a rare gem of modern numismatics. It carries history, beauty, uniqueness, and immense value. It proves that even the smallest and most ordinary-looking coins can rise to become the most extraordinary treasures of all. Next coin, number 6. The year was 1970. America was in the middle of enormous cultural change. The Vietnam War divided the nation. Music and art were exploding with new energy, and the world was turning its eyes toward a future of both uncertainty and hope. And while history unfolded on the grand stage, something remarkable was happening quietly, almost invisibly, at the U.S. Mint. That year, the familiar Lincoln Memorial Cent continued its production. Millions of coins poured from the presses, each carrying the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the stately Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. To most, these were just pennies, simple cents to spend, save, or toss aside. But hidden among those countless coins was a tiny, extraordinary miracle. The 1970 Lincoln Memorial Cent with no mint mark, preserved even in a worn, dirty condition, yet rare enough to shock the entire collector world. At first sight, this coin might fool the casual eye. It doesn't shine. It doesn't sparkle. It carries the marks of circulation, the dust of decades, the scars of everyday life. But do not be deceived, because rarity is not always dressed in perfection. Sometimes the rarest treasures hide beneath the surface of ordinary wear. And in this case, that ordinary exterior disguises one of the greatest numismatic treasures of modern America. Let's dive into its background. The 1970 Lincoln Memorial Cent was struck in 95% copper and 5% zinc, the same trusted alloy used for years. Philadelphia produced these coins without a mint mark, while other mints added their identifying letter. But within the Philadelphia run, only a rare fraction emerged in such remarkable form that collectors now fight to obtain them. The absence of a mint mark, paired with the survival of such a coin in today's market, is what makes this piece so irresistible. Its uniqueness is not just in the missing mint mark, but in the story it carries. Think about it. This coin circulated for decades. It moved through hands that never knew its worth. It bought candies, groceries, maybe even slipped through the drawers of businesses or coin jars of families who never imagined the fortune they held. And today, when one is discovered, it is like finding buried treasure in plain sight. Now, let's speak of rarity. Millions were made, but very few survived in collectible form. The world has a way of devouring ordinary coins through spending, wear, damage, and loss. That makes survivors like this extraordinarily rare. Collectors crave them not because they are flawless, but because they are living history. To hold a 1970 no-mint mark Lincoln Cent in your hand is to hold a chapter of America's past that survived against all odds. And here comes the part that never fails to leave hearts racing. The current auction market value of this coin stands at a staggering $183,000. Yes, you heard correctly. A single penny, dirty, worn, and unassuming, is valued at nearly $200,000. That is not pocket change, that is a life-changing treasure. That is wealth wrapped in copper, wealth that could be hiding in anyone's old collection, jar, or drawer. And let me tell you, this is not an overstatement. The value of this coin rises with each passing year. Collectors know how few remain. They know how fierce the demand is. They know that every time one of these coins disappears into a private collection, the price of the next one climbs even higher. Today it is $183,000. Tomorrow, it could be even more. It is not just money. It is a treasure chest that grows in value as time passes. For collectors, here's the golden tip. Never ignore condition. Even a coin that looks dirty, worn, or unimpressive can turn out to be the rarest jewel of all. Study every cent from 1970. Look closely for the absence of a mint mark. Examine carefully, because what looks ordinary could very well be the miracle you've been waiting for. And as we conclude this chapter, let's not forget, the 1970 with no mint mark Lincoln Memorial Cent is not just a penny. It is a living relic of history, a treasure hidden in plain sight, a fortune disguised as copper. It proves beyond doubt that value is not always in beauty sometimes. The greatest value is in survival, in rarity, and in the story a coin carries across time. Next coin, number 7. The year was 1987. The world was on the edge of a digital revolution. Computers were leaving laboratories and entering homes. New music was shaping a generation, and America was charging into the future with confidence. In the midst of all this progress, the U.S. Mint quietly continued striking its everyday coins, never knowing that some of them would carry the power to astonish future collectors. Among these coins was one that looked ordinary at first glance, but would later be revealed as an extraordinary treasure. The 1987 Lincoln Memorial Cent with the Denver D mint mark, bearing a rare gray shade and surviving even in a dirty, worn condition. At first sight, you might mistake it for nothing special. It may look like a penny that has seen too many years, handled by too many hands. But look again, and you'll realize this coin carries something mysterious. That grayish tone across its surface, combined with the unmistakable D mint mark, gives it an identity that sets it apart. Collectors do not see dirt or wear. They see rarity, they see history, and they see fortune hidden in plain sight. Let's dive into its background. The Lincoln Memorial Cent had been struck since 1959, replacing the wheat reverse and honoring not only Abraham Lincoln, but also the very building dedicated to his memory. By 1987, billions of memorial cents had already entered circulation. But within this ocean of coins, the Denver Mint produced a tiny handful that would become miracles coins with unique shades, rare survival, and demand that would one day ignite bidding wars and auctions. Its composition, like others of its time, was 95% copper until 1982, after which most coins transitioned into copper-plated zinc. The 1987 with D is one of those later compositions, yet it holds a presence that feels greater than its metal. Its uniqueness lies in the combination of Denver's mint mark, its unusual grayish surface tones, and the sheer fact that it has survived in a collectible state despite decades of circulation. Now, let's talk about rarity. Out of millions struck at Denver that year, most have vanished into the vast machinery of circulation. They've been spent, worn away, corroded, or forgotten. Only a handful survived in such form that collectors today recognize as truly extraordinary. And when something this rare appears, when it surfaces with its distinct gray look, collectors know instantly they are staring at treasure. And here's where the story explodes into pure shock. The current auction market value of this coin is an astonishing $149,000. Yes, a penny something people leave in tip jars, drop between couch cushions, or ignore on sidewalks today stands as a six-figure fortune. That is not pocket change. That is a hidden treasure chest in the palm of your hand. And remember, this is not a fairy tale. This is the reality of the numismatic market. The demand for this coin grows every single year. Collectors know how rare it is. They know how extraordinary its survival is, and they are willing to pay fortunes to own it. Today, it sits at $149,000. Tomorrow, it could be even higher. Its value is not only real, it is rising. For collectors, here's your vital tip. Never dismiss coins because of condition. This treasure proves it. Even if a coin looks worn, dirty, or ordinary, look closer. Examine every detail. Search for the Denver D mint mark. Notice the unusual gray tones. Because sometimes, what looks like a simple cent can turn into the discovery of a lifetime. And as we close the story of the 1987 with D Lincoln Memorial Cent, remember this truth. This coin is not just copper-plated zinc. It is history. It is rarity. It is proof that even the humblest coin can transform into an unimaginable treasure. Owning one is not just owning a coin. It is owning a piece of wealth that grows, a fortune that will never lose its allure. But friends, do not step away now. We have one final coin on this journey. And trust me, if you've been shocked so far, the last treasure will leave you absolutely speechless. The best, as they say, is saved for last. Next coin, number 8. That miracle is the 1983 Lincoln Memorial Cent without a mint mark, shimmering with a mix of gray and golden shades, preserved in fine condition, and commanding a value that leaves collectors stunned. At first glance, you might think it's just another cent. But when the light dances across its surface, revealing the extraordinary play of gray and golden tones, you realize immediately this is not ordinary. This is treasure. The unique shades give it an identity unlike any other, making it stand out from the ocean of coins that look alike. And the absence of a mint mark only adds to the mystery, reminding us that sometimes the smallest details make the biggest difference. Let's step into its background. By 1983, the Lincoln Memorial Cent had already been in circulation for nearly 25 years. But this was a pivotal year in coinage history. The U.S. Mint had shifted away from traditional copper composition and was now producing cents made primarily of zinc with a thin copper coating. Billions were made, but out of this massive production, only a whisper of coins survived with the traits that set them apart as ultra-rare treasures. The 1983 with no mint mark with its unique gray and golden tones is one of those miracles. Its uniqueness goes beyond its composition. This coin carries the aura of history, the subtle glow of time, and the unexplainable beauty of shades that seem to tell a story. Every collector who sees one knows they are looking at something extraordinary, an accident of the minting process, a survivor of circulation, and a work of art forged by history itself. Now, let's speak of rarity. Imagine billions of coins, all nearly identical, circulating endlessly through hands, shops, and banks. And then imagine the tiniest fraction that survived with no mint mark, preserved in fine condition, and carrying those remarkable tones. That is the definition of rarity, a treasure so scarce that even the most seasoned collectors can spend a lifetime searching and never find one. And here comes the moment of pure shock. The current auction market value of this treasure is an awe-inspiring $157,000. Yes, $157,000 for a single cent, proof that size does not define value. This coin is living proof that fortune can hide in the most unexpected places. It is wealth concentrated into a single cent, a fortune disguised as copper and zinc, a life-changing treasure that may still be hiding in someone's jar, drawer, or old collection at this very moment. And the story does not end here. The value of this coin is climbing. Every year, its price rises as collectors battle to own it. Each time one disappears into a private collection, the next becomes even more valuable. Today, it stands at $157,000. Tomorrow, it could be far greater. It is not just money, it is a treasure chest that grows richer with time. For collectors, here is the golden tip. Never underestimate the 1980s Lincoln Memorial cents. They may look modern, they may look ordinary, but within them are some of the greatest treasures of our time. Examine your 1983 cents carefully. Look for the absence of a mint mark. Study their surfaces for gray and golden hues. Because hidden among them could be your very own miracle, your very own fortune, disguised as a penny. And now, as we close this incredible journey, let's reflect on what we've uncovered. From the wheat pennies of the 1940s and 1950s, to the Roosevelt dimes of the 1980s and 1990s, to the Lincoln Memorial treasures of later decades, we have walked through a gallery of coins that prove one undeniable truth. The smallest objects can carry the greatest value. These coins are not just money. They are history, they are rarity, they are wealth, and above all, they are treasures that transform ordinary collectors into guardians of fortune. So if you've watched this far, you know now, the next treasure could already be in your pocket, your drawer, or your coin jar. Keep searching. Keep looking. Because in the world of coins, one discovery can change everything. And remember, this channel Hidden US Coins is your faithful, trustworthy guide into this fascinating world. We bring you the newest updates, the rarest discoveries, and the most astonishing treasures every single day. Stay with us, subscribe, and join the community of treasure hunters who know the truth. The greatest fortunes are hidden in plain sight.